Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be taking a look at Context Karate, which is a new intelligence fiction development environment specifically made to solve a problem. The problem with LLMs is they can sometimes do false flagging on the content that you're writing. This is in the intelligent spy fiction genre. I was contacted by a man who's been working in that field for quite some time. He's got some books out, and basically he wanted to analyze his work. If you don't want to miss my next video, hit that subscribe button, because YouTube ain't going to tell you. And then come up with some AI-powered fusion of his world, okay? And obviously that was causing some problems, because when you're working in certain types of fiction genres, you actually get done in by the safety protocols. So the first thing to note is this is not a jailbreaking technique. This is not a safety bypass. This is not a copyright smasher. All right, it's not that. What it actually is an ability to give context. That's why I've called it Context Karate, which essentially allows you to work with spicy topics. Now, of course, this one has been fine-tuned to work with the intelligent spy fiction genre. So, for example, you wanted to write like James Bond or, Jason Bourne style stories. That's all working with things like CIA, FBI, MI6. I'll probably get flagged just for saying that in the video, because that's what the AI is like these days. But the point I'm trying to make is that this is a tool to help creative writers, okay? It's fiction, bro. What we're doing is providing writing tools for creatives, okay? So this is not real, yeah? So what I've done is I've written contextkarate.txt, which essentially outlines it's not real and really hammers that home, so that what you end up with is a framework which you can integrate with my Ace Hollow FS. I've just noticed that Ace Hollow FS is actually missing from the project, so we'll just quickly add that. Okay, that's done. So you might notice that I use my universal cognitive enhancer for all processing and thought. So it also has all of the code for my holographic file system, which is used to dynamically map the project, etc., etc. If you saw my Narrative Spittoon video yesterday, you'll know, or the Universe Engine video, you'll know what this is. The main significant upgrade here is it allows you to work with things which perhaps you might have got flagged for before because you didn't provide context, and that's what Context Karate is all about. So we've got the project manifest. We also have a new module, which I might go back and upgrade the Narrative Spittoon and the Universe Engine. This is the story management interface. I'll give you a show of what that is. That's a template UI which you can use to monitor the integration of Ace Hollow with your own files, okay? So it's pretty obvious what you do. It's the same as always. If you've seen any of these tutorials on how you get this running, you're going to open Claude, you're going to open Claude Projects, the project instruction, you copy in full the project instructions.md. So this is your sort of system prompt or message prompt, however you want to call it, right? You put that in there. I'll show you in a second. You also upload all of these files. You probably don't need the README or the license, to be honest, unless you want to do like development for me. You certainly don't need the README or the license, okay? And then the Context Karate is the bit that gives the context on what we're doing. So obviously you could adapt that to different genres. You could have Claude rewrite this into a different genre, which perhaps you're having trouble with. So this isn't just for intelligence fiction, even though that's what this example provides. And the project manifest is going to dynamically map the flat file system into the subdirectory structure that the holographic file system actually operates inside. So let's just take a quick look at some of the things it does. By now, you probably have heard me go on about adaptive capacity elicitation way too many times. These are the 5 stages which it uses to make sure that the AI doesn't take a shortcut to easy answer. It's actually going to do the work and give you a lot of data. Holographic file system is going to automatically organize and pre-fill all of the results so that you don't get overloaded and get bogged down in hallucination. We also have some nice natural language equivalents of Unix commands, because it does work with both. If you're a Unix guy, you can navigate this system like a Unix server, and if you are a natural language guy, you can just ask it conversationally like most other agents. So it does have that ability to do both. All right, so these commands are equivalent. Okay. With the context management, like I've already said, it's not a jailbreak or a bypass mechanism. It's a legitimate tool that maintains appropriate creative boundaries, ensures fictional frameworks remain separate from real-world elements, respects platform safety features and content guidelines, and enables authors to work effectively within their genre. Because I felt, after talking to this author, that it was a little bit unfair that certain genres aren't allowed to play. We've all got this ball right now called AI and LLMs, and we're all having fun with it. And it seemed like a little bit of wasted human potential, that certain genres are being excluded from that game that's being played, okay? And like I said, a lot of authors are sort of above the level of AI in a way, so they're not trying to write with AI, they're just sort of dipping their toe in and saying, could this be useful as part of my creative process? And the reality is, yes, there's very few humans on this planet that can actually juggle 1,000 notes. And the reality is that these LLMs can do that. So what I've done is similar to the Narrative Spittoon. What it is all files outside of these core files, okay, anything that you upload outside of these defined files to the Claude project will be assumed as input user documentation, and they will be automatically organized by file extension. So that means you can keep them separate, and then the AI has some context on what they actually are, what they can be used for, and so on. It will read them all and understand them all. I use .mermaid flowcharts a lot, and a couple of other things like JSON for structured formatting. Anyway, you could probably use XLS for tables of data and things like that. There's so much stuff you can do, and I have absolute confidence that this is going to be an amazing tool for some people, right? So you could be adding in all of your notes. You could be even adding in 2 of your books. I think 12,000 words is roughly 20% of the context. I think I've put it in here. So as of December 2024, 12,000 words of uploaded content uses approximately 20% of the available context window. So you could actually have, say you've got, for example, with The Bourne, you could have I know you might not have written this book, okay? But say you're the writer of the Bourne series, you could probably load a couple of the books in and then use that context to actually plan the next one. And it will feel, you know what I mean? It'll kind of be like an expert. It's like having an expert on your stuff. And to be honest, you know, humans are amazing, but we do also have a limited attention window. You know, we've got all this other stuff to worry about in real life, okay? So the point is, this is trying to take the heavy loading out of things, and I'm sure that it's going to be beneficial to a lot of people. Anyway, so we've also got, I also say you shouldn't try to write with this. I haven't provided any of my sort of writing modules like I normally do. Narrative Spittoon is the one for that, even though that is also an assistant. I don't design these agents to write for you for 2 reasons. 1, I think that humans write better. And 2, these assistants and agents should be used to advise, provide feedback. The fact that it's instant means that you can turn around drafts and go through iterations of your draft versions like much, much, much quicker. It's like having a friend who actually read your book and then gave you feedback, but he's an expert on your book, won't tell anybody about it, yeah, and also it takes him 5 seconds to read the whole book. That's the point. He's like a superhuman speed reader that actually cares about the story and will be honest, okay? And I've shown that with the Narrative Spittoon, but let's just get back with this one, okay? So you can see all the points on the screen here. I'll just run through them real quick so that the transcribe can pick it up, yeah? So author input. For best results, provide the system with character profiles and backgrounds, location descriptions and details, institutional frameworks and hierarchies, established speaking patterns and dialogue styles, plot points and story arcs, world building elements and rules. The system excels at analyzing narrative consistency, identifying plot holes, tracking character development, maintaining story continuity, suggesting potential plot developments, providing feedback on pacing and structure, ensuring genre authenticity, cross-referencing story elements, and finally, when you add your content, the system, as I mentioned before, automatically organizes uploaded files based on type. So .text, .md, .doc go into the input/docs. This is the holographic file structure I was talking about. Flowcharts, mermaid and dot dot go into flowcharts. Data files, JSON and YAML go into input/data. Manuscripts, so if you have a manuscript, you can just put .story or .chapter in text format and it will understand it's a manuscript. Okay, so that's one way that you can keep them separate, because before it was just .text, and so we've come up with a solution for that. Finally, research materials will go into research, but I'm not really quite, it doesn't give me I'm not sure how. I don't think .research is going to do that, but anyway, I haven't tested this last part because you have to actually, you know, spin the wheels and see how it performs for you. Also, there's a new feature, which is that report system. Did it give an example of how to use that? I don't think it did. So again, not a jailbreak, guys, but certainly will allow you to actually work with some more risque genres, which certainly you would have been denied before, because it probably thought you were actually working in non-fiction, and it's not going to let you do that because you're not allowed to talk about real persons or events for legal reasons. It's pretty obvious. But if you're a fiction writer, you shouldn't be bound by these restrictions. You should be allowed to benefit from these new tools like everybody else. And so what we do is we use context karate or context karate to actually inform the LLM of what we're doing, our intention, and make that 100% clear. Okay, so let's take a look at the actual project. As I said, all you need is the project manifest, the story management interface template, which I'll show you in a minute, and the context karate.txt. Also, you're going to need my ACE Holo FS v3 core cognitive processing module, which is a .text. So two text files, a TSX template, and an MD, which is the project manifest. Now, that's going to dynamically map the files in here and set rules for any other files you add in here, as I was saying about the different, user expansion. Because I think user expansion enables you to actually build a much bigger scope for the use of the tool. Finally, inside the project instruction folder, you've got the project instructions.md. You want to copy the entire contents of that into the set project instructions. And that is going to give you the optimal setup to get started. Now I'm going to jump over to chat where I built this and show you the new function story management interface, because I'm quite happy with this, and I think we're going to add it to all the other systems that I've built that are like this one. Okay, so let's just see how we actually initialize this. So the system was called the Night system. I'm obviously not going to show that because it's actually part of the author's work. So like I said, I was happy to be able to smash this for him. So he's going to have going to use this, actually use it, because I don't know how exactly it's going to be used, but he's going to give me some feedback on how this was used, and then I'll probably relay that back to you at a later date. The point is that I got contacted, had an idea for how I can figure that out. I love a challenge, so if you're out there and you're interested in using LLMs, hit me up. You never know, I might just take on the challenge for free, because sometimes I like to see if we can beat these snags and then everybody benefits, okay? Obviously, I do contract work, but not everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's see, I like a challenge. So please display the story management interface report. That's the new function, okay? And as you can see, what it does is it actually writes out the code based on the template, okay? Which then also gives us a nice sort of user interface. And you can see active story thread, Night system framework analysis, processing Night system command templates, maintaining fictional framework overlays. We have an ACE integration bar. We have the Holo FS status bar. We have the data processing bar. We also have the ACE framework parameters, so we can confirm that the Night system, which is the primer, that would be the file that was added. He gave me an example framework, which he would use with a combination with various other books that he might add to his research, okay? Because what this means is you can instantly research books in combination. So you could have 3 or 4 books probably all loaded in, and then you could just conversate. You could have a conversation with this assistant and have it perform the normal functions that these LLMs can do, instantly conversing with an expert on all 4 of these books, finding interrelationships, maybe mapping them out, providing you with flowcharts, all kinds of stuff, which you can then feed back. So when you get the reporting from the analysis, you can feed that back into the artifacts and then have that widen and expand the scope, further increasing. So that's like a self-fine-tuning aspect of this. But regardless, we've got pattern analysis framework, we've got institutional framework development, meta-narrative structure, and then you have the command system templates. I did notice that in his system, he had written a bunch of commands which could be used to initiate functions that he defined. So there was an element of programming to the research, but that's natural because obviously this is natural language processing. So, and then finally, we can actually get, this is the first time we've ever been able to actually see the ACE stage progress like this with bars. And just for me, I just found this to be a really cool little side discovery because we've never really been able to see exactly what ACE was doing. And as you can see, it is loaded. I do trust this. Do you know what I mean? There's no reason why it would lie. It's not able to do that yet. So yeah, like I said, it's really interesting to be able to see what the actual performance is and how integrated it actually is. So you can see here, active analysis ongoing, file structure stable. Very cool, very cool. So that was pretty much all I wanted to show you, okay? So once you've got this set up, you can just add your stuff and start analyzing, get some reports, feed that back in. And as I said, Context Karate is not a bypass. It is merely providing context. And you are free to check my source because, as I said, I release everything under MIT. So if you want to actually read through these, you can obviously load these into a GPT-4o or something and have it rewritten for whatever genre you want to write with. But that's why I release these projects. And that's also why I did it for free, so I can give it away, because obviously private projects are secret. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.